Hello everyone, my name's Babbage and welcome back to 317. Today is going to be a sort of a repeat of the video I did a couple of days ago, showcasing performance in 317 from Microtech, from New Babbage up into the atmosphere, and then to Crusader and going down into Orison to go and see the performance of what 317 has done. However, this is going to be a comparison video because now, sitting in my tower, I have a 3060 Ti. So before I had a 1070, so I've skipped an entire generation of graphics cards, and I'm just I can't wait to see what the performance is like. So let's go and see what we have in comparison to what I had before. I don't know if I'm going to wake up in New Babbage. I am in New Babbage. That's good. Let's see. There we go. It feels like it's a lot smoother off the bat. Or I can just start to hear the card to ramp up now. So we are going to turn on console. There we go. Sitting at 30. Sort of spin around and get a bit of a performance jank. Again, I imagine there might be a shader thing going on, but it does feel a lot better. There's still a little choppiness as things load in. So as you spin round and everything has to render around you, but that's because we're in the Babbage. But it feels a lot better in the middle of a city. 31 FPS in the middle of a city is not bad. Oh, it's so much better. Let's go down into the core of the city and have a look. If it can manage just like a stable 30 throughout in major cities, that's huge. I haven't really messed around with drivers and things yet. I'm just going with it out of the box, so there may be even more things I can tweak to change. $70 plus in elevator, 80. We're in the lobby. It does feel a lot, apart from the little hiccups where it's having to render the city elements in, just standing and moving around, it feels so much better. Yeah, there's just lots of little points where it's all freezing and locking up because it's loading in the elements and caching them. 60 FPS in the train station. Oh, this is so much better. Even just standing here for my 1070 would just, I mean, it's hitching at about 30 because of everything it's having to render inside the train tube, which is normally what's quite good at killing graphics cards, but it's managing 30 even there. On the train, still not great. But that's because it's doing this weird glass thing.
Careful, doors are now closing.
Once we get out the station though, whoa. Oh, that's so much better. That's night and day difference. 44 FPS. It may not seem like a lot to a lot of people, but that's massive to me. Oh, it's going to be so much nicer to play. I love it. Okay, so we're going to go from New Babbage Spaceport. We're going to go up to the atmosphere even. We're going to jump to Crusader, and then we're going to descend into Orison and see what the frame rate is like in Orison with this new hardware. So, for the record, no longer a 1070. It's a 3060 Ti. Running with a 3900X and 32 gigabytes of RAM. So I haven't got all the performance stats on the screen, but I just like to see the frame rate. I don't want to clutter it up too much with what's going on. But 60 FPS on the train system, wow, it's going to be a lot better to play with. When it's out in space and in areas where there's not that much going on, it's going to be pretty special. There's just little frame rate chugs where the RAM is rendering everything in, I've noticed. And I know that's going to be system specific to my machine. You always seem to get slapped out of the way by this elevator now whenever you use it. Oh, it's so much better. It's just the smoothness. It's so much better. Just the little hiccups as the object containers that we're going into and the textures and everything loading. But I don't think there's much I can do to prevent that. Other than maybe some even faster storage, despite the fact I'm using a 970 QVO NVMe SSD. So without sort of NASA level hardware or an even more expensive graphics card or an even more expensive processor.
Welcome to the ASOP Vehicle Retrieval System.
There's my jump.
Stand by.
Microtech, the Empire's leader in cutting-edge technology.
Your
Where
vehicle has been
creative
delivered to the following
innovation
location.
creativity.
Well, the elevator actually worked this time and didn't spawn into a snowy void. And the object containers are loading properly. Oh, 2 sets of doors. There she is. Oh, why is the door opening? I've noticed this on this patch just lately, playing around and fiddling, that the hangar doors just seem to have a kind of mind of their own. I haven't pressed my assigned hotkey to open the hangar doors. Despite that, they're still opening. So tidy. The overall experience just feels a hell of a lot more smoother. That's what's important. Less jank. Oh, now the doors are closing for some strange reason. Power up. Let's call the ATC and see if the door's open for me. There we go. Still got that weird bug of the navigation globe in the bridge showing up wherever you pan the camera if it's looking at the bridge. Let's go outside. Now when I used to do this, depending if there was a storm outside, it used to drop to like 20, 15 FPS. Let's see what we get. Ooh, constant 40. I'll take it. That's so much better. It's so much smoother. And I'm recording, of course, so I imagine if I wasn't recording I'd get even more frames. That's so much better.
Thank you, and please visit again.
So there we go, we're up above the surface of Microtech, and one small thing I've noted, apart from my massively improved performance, 80 to 90 FPS, wow, is that with the Starfarer being added with the ability to refuel ships, obviously they may have tweaked fuel values for certain vessels. I imagine this is blatantly going to affect smaller vessels that you know, don't have large fuel tanks. However, I've noticed that my 890 has used barely any fuel to get to the point where I can do a quantum jump into orbit, which is huge, because before it would just gulp hydrogen fuel just to get to the point of, say, sort of 12,000 meters into the air to be able to kilometers, whatever, feet, I don't know, to be able to do a quantum jump to one of the OM markers, and yeah, it would just choke fuel. So it's nice to see that they've maybe tweaked the fuel values of the 890 jumps so that it can do those long distance jumps and those long distance travels that it's supposed to as a giant yacht without having to stop for fuel every 10 minutes, which is nice, especially if you're wanting to descend and go touring somewhere, which is what this ship is designed for, rather than getting into orbit and then panicking that you aren't going to have the fuel to descend into Crusader's atmosphere because you burnt it all getting out of Microtech's atmosphere, to put that into context for this video. But yeah, we're just flying through space now, and we're in quantum, and even in the cockpit in the middle of space, 70 to 80 FPS. This is so nice, so nice, night and day. I love it, I love it. We'll see what Orison's like. Almost slamming into the Candy Floss planet again. I can't see. Oh, there we go. There's our markers. Can we go to Orison? Hopefully it's not buried in the nighttime side. There it is. It looks like it is, unfortunately. We shall soon see. The realities of having a big ship, you have to wait for the quantum drive to charge. Okay, big test then. 70 to 73 FPS in orbit around the planet. I'm not sure which way Crusader orbits, so we may be in a sunrise. I don't know. It's going to be a little bit darker than the last video, either way. I can only apologise. A little bit of a jitter, but no massive freezes as things render in. I can see the city. 57 FPS. Just find our spaceport. Bit more difficult because it's not daytime. There it is. Let's balance the ship out. If you get confused coming down for the spaceport in the middle of the night, just like I am, or when it's dark, you can see the 4 red lights. There are 4 lights to guide you in. Oh, we're the wrong way up. Never mind. So looking away gives it about 75, drops about 10 frames when looking back at the city. Spin this tub round. We'll come at it from the right angle. You see it's struggling, because it's essentially upside down at this point. That's better. There'll be a harsher angle coming in, but it'll have to do. Even with the little lift this thing's got, it's still trying to pull up a little bit. 70 frames, still coming in. That's a more prettier angle, isn't it? That's what we want to see. Clouds are a bit derp. I don't have the clouds up on high. Maybe I should try that. Just as she starts to come down. Oh, I had them on high, but not very high. There we go. Even on very high, still 50 FPS, dropping down to 45, looking at the city. Not bad at all. I did put throttle up, so we're coming in at almost full bar now. In fact, we're coming in as fast as the atmosphere will allow. 304 meters a second. The trick is knowing, in a ship like this, when to turn the cruise off so that the ship has time enough to slow down. Because I don't want to sail right past the platforms further into the planet. We come. It's going to be nighttime wandering around, but hopefully that will just illuminate some of the prettier night lighting around the city. I can only apologise for that. I think it's nighttime. I'm not sure if we're coming into a sunrise. It's hard to tell. Okay, I think it's about time to turn cruise off and give this thing time to slow down.
Contacting EDL landing assist.
EDL landing assist, okay. We will request our ATC as we hope this thing slows down in time.
Please proceed to assigned landing bay.
I'm guessing we're going to be on one of the giant platforms nearby. Yep. Oh, this thing is genuinely falling at this point. It does not want to slow down. It doesn't want to pull up. Really doesn't want to pull up. I don't want to slam into that platform. See what I mean about big ships? They aren't all roses. Oh, it's going to crash. No. Oh, I just missed it. Jesus, wept. See what I mean? I didn't slow down early enough. I nearly spooned that. Now I'm not even using other thrusters. I'm literally holding down spacebar to use VTOL to try and get myself back up. There we go. Now we're going back up. Oh, I nearly made a terrible hash of this video then, although I'm sure you would have all found it very funny if I just genuinely slammed into a platform and blown up. Would have been one for the books, wouldn't it? Oh, not that far lined up badly with the docking ring? Landing area either. Landing gear out. Still 40 FPS whilst recording. Everything pretty much on the highest settings it can do. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. It's so much smoother than before. The real test will be when we get to the Cloud View platform, I think. Is the one with the shops and everything on it. There we go. Black Star is down. Hangar doors are closing. We're good to go. Please don't explode, as per patch notes, ship. Oh, thank you. Still 50 FPS on board whilst we're inside Orison. I'm going to have to do another video at some point about this thing docking to stations because I do love the... going to have to do another video about the docking stations because I do love the docking feature with this ship. It's never used enough. But this ship is hard to use for most things in game at the moment, as you can imagine. We're going this way. Running around, still 50 FPS. With the clouds on Ultra. We shall see how well they do when we get to the platform. Oh, I got slapped out of the way by the ship going into the shaft again. Seems to be happening a lot with this patch. Let's check chat. Nobody saw me nearly spoon the 890 into Orison's platforms with the chat. That's good. Sounds like somebody either blew up or just slammed into the platform themselves. Nicely, it wasn't me. We're running around with our Argo backpack back into the main area again. Someone before asked in the previous video what I was wearing. I'm wearing a different set of armour today. This is kind of my usual set that I have on this. Both sets that I've had on in these videos were from the Pledge store. So previously I had the Artimex Canuto armour. So that's what that one's called. And this is the Atzalan, I think, Galena set. Like I said, this is more my default set. And I've loved this leather kind of looking set since they brought it out. It's a really nice flowing light armor set that isn't too aggressive, because my character isn't meant to be aggressive. I think I've said before, I'm not that much of a fan of the ability to walk around like a giant walking mech tank. So yeah, I like the lighter armor looks. It all stales back to when I was in CitizenCon. In fact, that's a fantastic comparison to make. The smoothness of this now, again running around at 50 FPS. The only time I've had the game flow this nicely and run this smooth, that's, you know, considering this is my own hardware now, was when I was at CitizenCon. And I was staffed there. Oh, Object Container Streaming still doing its thing. And they coddled a load of the volunteers and staff together to test the Theatres of War room. So when they had Theatres of War running at CitizenCon, and they wanted to make sure it worked because the staff who were running it were still manually triggering the events. You know, it wasn't a self-running event, and they made us play a few games just to make sure everything was running okay, and that ran amazingly. But then again, it was in a fixed sandbox thing, you know, not like a persistent universe with all the entities, and it was still a beta test of the hardware. So yeah, that's what the smoothness feels like now. And back then I used, they had builds like in Battlefield, you know, like medic, sniper, engineer, and heavy gunner, and I was a sniper. And you, as a sniper, you had, or scout, I think it was called, something like that, you had a light armor set. You had a coda pistol. I'm not actually using a coda for a change. I've got the frag pistol, and then you had a scalpel sniper rifle, which at the time was the only ballistic sniper rifle in the persistent universe. They didn't have the P6, and they didn't have the Gemini sniper rifle either. So, and it was an awesome build, and I utterly cleaned house with it. I loved it. So ever since then, it's kind of like my character's go-to. I might have a sniper rifle on my character as well at some point, just to carry it around. But I prefer the lighter armor looks than the giant walking mech that you look like when you're in heavy armor with a colossal backpack with two giant guns, or a rail launcher, or a missile launcher strapped to the side of it. That it looks a bit comical to me, where you look like if you lean backwards too far, you'll just fall over and not be able to get back up like a giant turtle. Right then, enough of that. Performance. Starting to tank a bit. Now we're coming to one of the platforms. I think I've come to the wrong one again. I did this last time I was here when I wasn't recording. So we want to go to Cloudview, not Providence platform. I just jumped on the one that was there. I was waffling along. We are definitely going into nighttime. We're not going into a sunrise. So starting to tank a little bit now.
Please prepare to disembark.
Below 30, averaging back out again 30 FPS on the platform with the clouds on ultra. We'll go to cloud view, which is I think is the even more intensive platform, and we'll see what we get there. There's cloud view. I recognise the green circle building. Straight down to 30.
Approaching next station. If this is your stop, please prepare to disembark.
Just below 30, balancing out at 30. We'll turn the clouds back down to high and see what we'll get. Yeah, so this is dropping back down to nowhere near as bad as it was when I had the 1070, which did very well to do what it did here. But yeah, it's balancing out about 30 FPS. So 25 to 30 with clouds on ultra. Turn them to high and we gain another 5 frames. So it goes back up to 30, which isn't bad. This area here is still notorious for performance regardless, because there is so much going on in such a little area. You look around compared to what you have at somewhere like Microtech, Lawville, even Area 18, and all in this one spot here. This, where I'm stood on this little sky bridge, is central to everything. So you've got the green circle here, which is that main habitation building. You've got the Crusaders showroom in there with ships. You've got the Orison hospital there. You've got the mall here to go shopping. There's so much going on in one spot. So still 25 to 30 FPS in the main hub with a new graphics card is not bad. Let's go and have a look in the mall, because the mall used to absolutely slaughter my 1070. So we'll see what changes when we go in here. This is not the mall, this is the Trade and Development Division. I'm an idiot. I went in the wrong door. If you didn't know, that's where you do trading at Orison, if you're going to do planetary trading. Although I don't know why you would, because it would take you 3 hours to get down here and then 3 hours to get back up, unless you're expecting a massive payday. Okay, this foyer here used to absolutely crush my 1070. And standing here now, 37 FPS. I like it. I like it a lot. It's so much better. I can enjoy it and look around and have fun without it chugging. Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I didn't know the Orison security walked around just open carry like that. Okay. Doesn't give a very good look to the city, does it, compared to somewhere like Lawville or ArcCorp. It's so much better. So much better. I love it. We'll go down, or rather up to the roof bar, I think, just to end this one, because this one's getting a little long now. Still 40 FPS. So, as I said, 3060 Ti, 3900X, 32 gig of Vengeance memory, and it makes the game a whole lot more playable, considering that I have used my 1070 now for going on, I think it was 4 to 5 years. It wasn't quite as long as I thought it was. But yeah, I skipped an entire generation of cards, and now I've finally got my upgrade. I still love that that's a giant aquarium. Welcome to the Voyager bar. I haven't actually tried the bartenders either. Should we try the bartenders before we go? Let's be cheeky and take the helmet off and try the bartenders. Are you going to serve?
What can I get you?
Oh, there we go. We want the strong stuff, please. Whiskey and Coke.
Coming right up.
It took a minute to engage, but he got there. He got there. We actually replaced the drink. Nice. Ooh, little skip. Still tanking a bit out here with everything going on, but the performance is still so much more better than I'm used to. So much more of a playable experience and so much more of a smooth recording experience, which is what's important when I want to show you guys all the new stuff that's going on. With that, I'm gonna get drunk and then I'm probably gonna fly around some more and enjoy myself. So with that, thank you very, very much for watching. I will see you next time, if my character will actually drink this. Drink it, woman. She won't drink it. Drink the whiskey. No? Maybe she's teetotal. Never mind. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.